Hey, what's up, y'all, man? It's another episode of Tappin with Jefe. This is a beyond special episode. I got both my big bros on here, sandbox homies, went to school with these dudes. A lot of my first time life experiences with multiple different things has been with either one of these men right here. So first, before we get into it, y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Man, go ahead, Quinn. It's an honor that you on here, man. They got to know. If you won't tell them who you are, I'm about to tell them who you are.
Oh man, I'm just some dude named Quinn. Yeah, we went to high school together back in the day. And I can't really, elaborate on too much. We've been through some shit together, all of us. Back in the day, all of us were, rapping, man. All of us were in the cipher back in the day. Really getting it in on that. And yeah, I'm just a regular dude. I don't have the same clout that Gabriel here has, or
Man, look, I get my clout from Quinn. Let me tell y'all, like he said, from the sandbox. This dude, man, I think we was probably 17, you know what I mean, something like that. This dude said, listen, we ain't on the music. He said, and I haven't seen Quinn since we was like back in the day, bro. It's been over 10 years.
Yeah.
This dude said lines of limos followed by lines of rentals behind your casket because what you did was consequential. What, like, blew my mind, like, we 16, like, what, how you know the words? Like, what are you talking about? Like, lines of limos followed by lines of rentals behind, and I never forgot it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm impressed you didn't forget that shit.
Greatest lyricist I've ever heard in my life. You know what I'm saying? BJ, I don't know if you got a wah do that for Queen for one time. You feel?
No, on God though, bro. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I got a lot of my motivation from you and Quinn and the homie Manic and shit and Blue, man. All four of y'all have motivated the fuck out of me because I've always been a fan of your guys' wordplay and how dope y'all are. But first things first, I got two questions. I'm two topics I'm gonna bring up real quick, and then we're gonna get into some more other shit like with hip hop. First things first, Queen Elizabeth passed away. R.I.P. to that woman. Why is it that a lot of people don't like her? Are you guys aware of that? Because I've noticed when I mentioned her on Facebook, there was a lot of negative stuff and there was a lot of positive stuff. Are you familiar with that?
Man, I can't really speak on that too much. All I do, my lady knows more about that than me. There's some political, like some policies behind it for sure that nations throughout the United Kingdom really, don't like mesh with well. I know that there's a lot of like Irish people supposedly that weren't really cool with the Queen. So there's a lot of like there's a lot of bad blood when it comes to a monarchy and the nation that they rule and things like that. So like I said, I can't speak on it too far, but there had to be something politically that just the other nations and other people just didn't gel with, probably due to culture, geography, whatever it may be.
What do you think, Gabriel?
I think I haven't really dove into the political aspect of even the powers, and I was just looking at it like, dang, there's a king now, you know what I'm saying? That's just the idea of a king, and I'm always reference everything back to the Bible and just how that structure was set up. But I think just the climate of how they was presented, to us, to our culture, to if you look at all the conspiracies behind Diana, like, you know what I mean? And you look at that and it seemed like an inside, you know what I mean? You was hating on Shorty that bad, you killed her? Like, his mama crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? They painted, that kind of picture, also in recent, what just happened, I guess, with her son and a half black lady, you know what I mean? Like I said, I ain't into politics as much. I be in the word and in them raps, but you know, it seemed like they had little races a little bit. Like, dang, that's how y'all feel. I know Snoop Dogg was like, well, you know, she looked out for me or something when he got in trouble. And you know, politics as usual. Politics is gonna be politics, but if you look at the heart of a person, it seemed like just those people didn't have too good of hearts. And then you could go a little sub level down, and it's just, you know, there's conspiracies that they reptilians, and you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like her idea switch a little bit. Like I saw that, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's just that the, you know, the outlook on these people. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people in their country say, you know, they do a lot for their country. And I also heard a lot of people in their country say the exact opposite, like with all that power, with all that power, you know, with all that ability to change things, you know, they're not really, you know, flexing their power how they want to. It's almost just a, you know, a bloodline control thing. And, you know, I kind of think that's really what it was. I didn't really look at, I couldn't tell you a policy. Well, they did this to, you know, it's just the outlook and the image they kind of gave us. And, you know, she didn't come, we didn't see her crying over Diana's death. Like, oh, she was, you know what I mean? We didn't see
No.
the part of, you know, we've never seen this person, the heart of this person. We just seen the images they gave us, and it was always almost puppet, robot-like, and you know, and they never became real people to us, you know, I guess.
Yeah. No, yeah. My to close it out, I've come to the realization that whenever you have a person in power, there's always the pull out there's always the battery effect, I like to call it. You have the plus and the negative. It doesn't matter who the hell it is. From Hitler to Obama to the Kennedys to Biden to Trump to Queen Elizabeth to Kim Jong Un, you're always going to have the people that just flood the shit with negativity about them, and then you'll have the supporters that give the positivity about them. But you know, we're not into politics. That's just our opinion on that. And so the second topic I want to talk about.
Before we get off that one, do you think she's a reptilian?
No, man, I don't think no one's. I don't think no human has that power to shape shift their body.
It ain't them. It's the demons in them.
That's far fetched to me. But so secondly, what I've been seeing a lot of on Facebook, people like to complain a lot on Facebook. I noticed that people are complaining about the new Little Mermaid, which apparently is she's an ethnic person. What? Let me hear y'all's opinions on that, and I'll close that out the same way, and we're gonna get going on the good shit.
Man, I was actually just saw a TikTok the other day of this girl actually post like she did a stitch with some dude talking like he was like talking from like the racist point of view, like why would they make Little Mermaid black and all that, right? And then it went to some videos of these little black girls watching the Little Mermaid and just being so like excited that this Disney princess was, you know, had the same skin tone as them. And it wasn't just, you know, you have the Princess and the Toad, you know, you have that one, but that's it. And then for them to see, it's like, oh, like they were so happy to be able to relate to a, you know, Disney princess. And then like it was multiple videos of these girls just being so stoked about it. Cut chase to the end, you know, the guy who was talking about from the racist point of view, he's like, fuck you, racist. If that doesn't like warm your heart to see these little girls like be happy to see a princess with the same skin color as them, then fuck you, you're a racist piece of shit. I feel the same way. I really don't give a fuck what they do. You know, if you notice with the new Disney movies, they'll have these new advisories before, like saying like, hey, instead of getting rid of the movie, there's some racial shit in here because these were done, you know, a while back before we were like really enlightened to the situation. So you're gonna see some things that just, you know, are kind of like that's a little racist. But you know, they chose to be like, all right, well, but we want to educate the people on this and let them know it's like this was wrong then, and now we're, you know, we're acknowledging that now. So you know, Disney does a good job about being cognizant of the racial tensions and things that are going on within society. So them doing that with the Little Mermaid, I think it, I, in the end, it doesn't matter to me, it matters to the people that can relate to it. And that's really what's special. And watching those little girls just being so excited about that, yeah, it warmed my heart. I was like, that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you can't deny that.
Thanks. Thanks. Y'all remember what was it? Like Tall Tales, like Pecos Bills and Paul Bunyan and John Henry. Y'all remember them? Like I
Yep.
was so kind of proud that John Henry was a big old strong black dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, if now that I'm older and I had those feelings, I was proud, you know what I mean, in this world that they, you know, John Henry, like, you know what I mean, he was strong. Being an adult, if now they change John Henry to an Asian dude or a Mexican dude or whatever, I would go back and she'll be like, oh, John Henry was black, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and I would go back and show my kids the black John Henry just because of the pride I felt in identifying with the character. So I kind of understand the consistency, you know, of that, but I do understand, you know, representing and or representing something. So to represent something, kind of like Quinn was saying, like to a whole new culture, a whole new, you know, generation. They might not even seen the old, you know, Little Mermaid. And to now, okay, now let's culturally change this. I think we'll have to just look at like, yo, did she do a good job? Like, you know what I mean? And if the black girl did a bad job, I don't care what, you messed the Little Mermaid up, man. I don't care if you was black, Chinese. Like Ariel was better when she sounded the high pitch and it sounded pure. Like, like, you know, just being honest with what they did with the craft and with the job they did. But at the same time, I understand, you know, identifying with the character. Like I couldn't say, you know, somebody's racist because like, yo, Ariel was white. If you ask me what color Ariel before I seen that trailer, I'm gonna say she was white, wasn't she? And that didn't matter if we had a crush on, you know, these characters or not. Like, I had a crush on Nala and she was a lion. Like, you know, you feel me? Like, so, you know, it's interesting conversation, you know, when we, you know, try to point everybody to be a racist. And it's just like, oh, she was white. Like, why are you changing her white? That's who, you know, because I could, you know, see that in a character that I identify with, John Henry, like, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, so with that, you know, we are people, we got our feel, you know, I think we'll just have to something like, yo, did she do a good job? Did the black girl do a good job? Did the Chinese girl do a good job? Whatever you are, like, did she do a good job? And it's like, man, that girl sung them songs though. Like, yo, she could have, you know, to be honest with what she did with the job, you know what I mean? Because you could have casted anybody, and if they did a terrible job, you messed the mermaid up. So I'm a ramble, but so I don't know if there was, yeah.
Nah, yeah, I feel you to the fullest, bro, and I think that's kind of crazy because I ain't gonna lie. When Space Jam came, I had the biggest crush on the bunny.
That's
Oh
man.
man, let me tell you, bro. I thought,
Come
man,
on now.
but not so. My thing is like, you know, with history and especially with Disney movies, everything is getting redid. You know, they're taking a great solution and they're just putting a spin on it. And I think it's cool in like for them to like switch up the characters a bit so you know other little kids could feel that warm special feeling, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, all the people that are complaining about it are motherfuckers our age or that are just older, and it's like, how can you be so pressed about a cartoon? Like, you know what I mean? And you complaining about something you got zero control over, you know what I mean? You just whatever. I guess some people just like to complain about stuff, but yeah, man, shout out to Shawty, you know what I mean? Shout out to Disney for letting her do that. You know what I mean? That changed her family's lives, and
right.
you know, and you know, there's a positive outlook to that.
Is the girl playing Ariel? Is that like one of the sisters that with the song Bells It Like I Do? Is she like an artist or something? Like, who is that girl? Like, is
Girl
she?
that was in the new Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't she like one of the? I don't know. I don't want to misspeak, but
Yeah, I didn't even know it had came out. I just saw people like complaining about it. And I was like,
yeah,
oh shit.
exactly.
I think she's an artist though. I think she's a musician. I might be wrong, but I think she's a popular musician. No.
I don't know, but I know Disney got hella free promo from everyone complaining. I tell you that much.
Now,
I know, right?
if you're
Yeah.
complaining, you gonna go see it.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to redo Blank Check and put a little young black BJ in that motherfucker.
Like, yeah, you remember that shit where the fucking goddamn detective woman, fucking grown ass woman, kisses that little boy?
Yes,
What kind of
bro.
shit were we on in the 90s, bro?
You feel me? I'm like, damn you, Preston. She's a baddie. He got her ass.
Bro, that might be fire to redo Blank Check and put him in the hood. Put him in the hood and all it, like, man.
That's a good idea. Okay, so next, so with California especially, but also with other states around America, we have the gang culture, and in certain cities, it's way more relevant than others. So you have rappers who are from other parts of America or whatever, claiming hoods that are based in Los Angeles. And I feel like they do that to help their street cred and help them boost up. Prime example, Quando Rondo. Everyone that knows a person that's really been gang banging, really in the field, you know what I mean? Those people have people close to them that was either murdered next to them or they had people close to them killed. Yeah. I've never heard about none of these people saying, well, this person died, I'm dropping my flag. What are y'all opinions on Quando Rondo saying that? Is he showing growth as a man for taking a high road and walking away from it? Or is he a fake person that used something to propel him to stardom and now he's turning back on the image that he was once portraying? So now he's on some, you get what I'm saying?
I honestly, like, I can't speak too far on it because that's not, that wasn't the culture I grew up in, even though I did take a huge interest in it, because anything that has to do with crime syndicates and gangs, is a very interesting topic. But to be honest with you, like when we talk about like these neighborhoods that are outside of California that began in LA, and you'll see the same thing with like sets outside of Chicago that have certain like sets in Chicago. So like a lot of these, like you saw with Kansas or Little Rock back in the day, you actually had people moving from LA out to different states and starting their own thing. So you can't lie, there are some like neighborhoods that have the same street name as you'll find in LA in a different state, but they are connected to a certain lineage, and then it gains so much momentum that you can't really deny the fact that they're doing what they do. When it comes to Quando, like, was he, I don't know about his lineage. I don't know if it was like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, out here, the neighborhood I'm part of has been around since like the late 70s or early 80s or early 90s. It's been around for 20 years. That might add some weight to the fact that he was just dropping it. But if it was just some kids that got together and we're like, oh, we're Crips, you know what I mean? Then it's like, who gives a fuck? I saw Jay Stone post something about it, and he was like, you can't just drop your flag, whatever. You gotta, you gotta go get your put off. But at the same time, he ended it with like, he was a goofy internet banger anyways. Right. So it's like, do you even really like, do the reputables even really give a fuck? You know what I mean? Or like the people who have nothing to do with that culture, really the only ones making noise about it, and the true fucking gangsters are like, we don't give a fuck about the guy in the first place. You know what I mean? To use an analogy from my life, I work in the kitchen, right? And if I am working with someone for a few years and we like are in the trenches together, and if they were to all of a sudden just leave, it would hurt. It would hurt, because we were in the trenches and we sweated and busted our ass for years together. But if someone comes in for a week and then just dips out, I don't give a fuck. You know, so it might be the same type of dynamic with that, you know, like who knows how deep he was in it, who knows, you know, the lineage he had or anything like that. I for sure don't. if if he had weight with people and people that really cared about him, that's fucked up. But if they were just kind of kids just playing around and picking up like this gang culture just because it looked fucking cool, then who cares, man? Like he wasn't even really part of it in the first place, or was he? You know, like I don't know.
Facts.
Facts. That's
I like Quinn said, man, I grew up beside gang culture. I ain't grow up in it. My dad's a minister, man. Like, he always had a youth group. And so, all our friends are the people that was coming and selling the candy after school, or, drug-free youth knocking on your door. Whatever the youth program was in that season. Surrounded by these inner city kids, always, my dad was the dad of the neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean? And I was always fascinated with the mindset, you know what I mean, being a church boy. I was always fascinated with it, but being shown examples of the Martin Luther Kings, the Black Panthers, the you know what I mean, just the honest comparison, man, just what it is one of the most destructive things that happened to our culture, man. Like, you know what I mean? As a people, the direction we were going and this hard, ugly left that we took, like, in hip hop music, man, the art, like gang, like, you know what I mean? As much as we love, the gangster rappers, man, like if we look at what it did to the pureness of that art form, man, it murdered it. You know what I mean? Like it was bloodshed, and it took our attention away from the goal. So just to state that, I think it was like just in comparison of what we had, where we were going, man, it's destruction. With the Quando Rondo shit, he put his flag. I don't think he never should have picked it up. Like, you feel me? Like, bro, to be 100, like, man, I've been with those dudes who surrounded by gangs and don't want to be in them and seen the gang support that. See, now you go to basketball practice, bro. Like, oh no, he want to do this. Yeah, nah, let that do. And they come and support you if you got your mind and if you want to do something else for real. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody forcing you. I can't, like, you know what I'm saying? You might get beat up a few times and they gonna leave you alone. And if somebody from there, all right, we beat him up, but they ain't gonna let them across the street beat you up. Like, you know what I mean? There's some type of camaraderie in these communities, you know what I mean, to where you don't have to, choose that lifestyle, man, and to just, you to be fascinated with it. I don't think he should have picked it up. I think these rules that they're following is nonsense. Nobody really follows them. If we look at how 6ix9ine just jokered the whole industry, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Literally the Joker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, yo, man, ain't nobody, these dudes ain't playing fair. We look at what's going on, the people getting killed by their own hood, the Nipseys, like, man, why would you want to be a part of something? Why would you want to, you know what I mean, pledge your allegiance to something so destructive? You know what I mean? When the price is your life, why would you pledge your allegiance? The blood, you know what I mean? And anybody with any other option, I would say that's a better option. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think is, I don't even remember the question because I'm just so, like, it's just such a taste because we all got cousins and family members, people we loved. That's like, yo, man, like, dang, bro was an amazing artist, but he couldn't put that rag down. Or bro was like, you know what I mean? These are real people, man, who got real talent, real, everybody fingerprint is different. Imagine how different your ideas are. Like, and then they put this wall in front of everything that they are, and they represent something that they just picked up or that was passed down, or now they, you know what I mean, that totally blocks the human identity, man. So yeah, I think it's disgusting working in these youth programs, man. It's crazy because they mean it more than we meant it. Like, you know what I mean? We made our own set. This set, like, you know what I mean? We made our own clique because we ride with each other. Like, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? When my mom called, you know what I'm saying, homie, like, I gotta go home, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't put that before our families. We didn't put these rules, you know what I'm saying? But to even see the evils that's in these youngsters' mind, man, to see the guns that they're able to get a hold of, man, it's sick to see, what it's doing to the young girls out here, what they're attracted to, and now what they're becoming because of what this music or what this mindset is telling them they have to be. I know I could be long-winded, man. So yeah, man, it's sick, man. Gang culture is one of the sickest things that happened to it.
Yeah, it like you could tell it evolved into something different from what it used to be. Like I told you, BJ, like when it first began, it was a revolutionary, militant type thinking, to kind of battle racism from the police and things like that, and then of course like band together to fight against other outsiders. But through time, being a disenfranchised community, they were doing their best to grab onto any crumb that they could of the American dream, and in doing so, murders happen. And then when your brother dies, your best friend dies by another person in another neighborhood across town, it's kind of the mentality you already have going is like, I'm going to take revenge. And when you do take revenge, it just before you know it, it just snowballed. And I think what you got going on now with that culture, it's the product of that. It's no more like a community revolution in progress. It's now just like, oh no, we've been going at it with this neighborhood for generations, and that's what we're just gonna keep on doing.
Yeah. And I think too, I don't want to cut you off, BJ, but I think too, if you ask anybody, like even, I want to throw you under, like Jefe, your family, bro. Like if you ask anybody who really was in it, like they're not pushing you towards that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody who survived gang, who went out and did time, and who was really like, they could go tell you stories all day. But if you really listen to where they're directing you, they're not directing you. They're not encouraging you to do what they did. And, respect to a lot of the OGs, and you'll see a lot of the OGs speaking out about it now and, realizing the destruction that they did, repentance or that, on the other side. So yeah, for sure.
No, yeah. And my opinion on it is kind of touches on what you said. You know what I mean? I feel like once you're younger, you might get into some shit you might not be aware of. Well, once you've been in that and you're getting older, you have a choice still while you're younger to walk away from it. You keep going with it and you start parading it around to try to get a clout off of this. Well, that's what you signed up for. My opinion on this is like you said, because my pops, he did 20 years behind this shit. He got told on. He didn't tell on no one. Like he was he we've had this conversation that his word and his what he signed up for meant more for him to stay and do them 20 years versus telling to come be home with me. And now that I'm older and the type of shit that I'm into, not that I say I bang or nothing like that, but I could respect that. I can honestly respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and by that, for me, when I come across people who bang, it's like, if you're not a certain way, I'm gonna give you the respect when I meet you and shit. But like in here, I'm not gonna view you like that. You know what I mean? Like I got homies that I kick it with, come over, all that are really like that. You know what I mean? But when you see certain people, it's just like I don't know. But I think that that was a Joker move, and there's ways to go about that. If that you really want to be done with that, then like they said, man, go get your put off. What the culture is, you're in it. You know what I mean? Because when King Von died, it was a whole lot of high power shit, and you was trying to seek these individuals to kind of like back you. You know what I mean? But now when the shoe's on the other foot, you know what I mean? You have a change of heart, and it's just like, that's my opinion on that young man and those choices that he's made. But